Hello, hello, lovelies. So I am live. I think the video is just catching up. So today I wanted to hop on to do a quick video to talk about why men can come on strong and then pull away, and how in some cases we can have something to do with what happens and the fallout for us. So, has this happened to you? So, he came on strong and, he's pursuing you, he's planning the date, he's texting, and then he starts to pull away. You start to hear from him less until it just kind of disappears. And it leaves you feeling heartbroken and confused and hurt. And what happened is you've kind of gotten attached to him early on. You are emotionally involved with him beyond the point that obviously he was. And you've kind of put him on this pedestal. You've imagined he was so incredible that you actually get to this place where you are afraid, am I going to be good enough for him? Does he like me enough? You feel afraid to lose him. And it hasn't been that long that you've known him and been dating him. So I want to talk about and kind of pull back the curtain here and demystify what is going on both in him and you, and in the dynamic between the two of you, so that you don't have to go through that experience again. So, when you start to really like someone, and maybe it's starting on the first date, maybe on like the third date or date 4 or 5, and something inside you switches. And while before you were kind of lukewarm about him, but he kept coming towards you, he kept planning dates, he kept texting, and he's got this charm, and you slowly start to fall for him, you let him in. And, before you were getting emotionally invested, you didn't really care as much if you called or texted, you kind of barely noticed. And now it's all that you can think about. And before you didn't really care where this was going because you weren't sure. And now you've gotten emotionally invested, you feel pretty insecure about the future, and you feel like you need to know where it's going and what's going to happen. And you're starting to feel kind of all jittery and unstable inside, and you're beginning to think like, why isn't he communicating more? Why isn't he pushing the relationship forward faster? And you start to just be on hyper alert for all these tiny details, even though maybe it's just like a couple weeks in, and you're thinking about where you stand, and it's kind of keeping you up at night wondering where he is and what he's doing and what he's thinking, and he's kind of always on your mind. It's hard for you to enjoy the things that you used to just like be in the moment. And it almost always is at this moment, at this point, he begins to start to feel like he's like not pursuing the same way that he was at the start. Like he's maybe a little less invested or a little less interested. He's starting to maybe pull away. And then, of course, over time, that does happen. So, what's happening here? So, I want to explain this. So, what happened for you is that you've fallen into infatuation, into early attaching to him. And a lot of us do that. Part of the reason is just that we're kind of flooded with the love hormones and the love chemicals, and they're really strong. And part of it is probably that you've got some anxious attachment tendencies and that they have been activated because you've gotten emotionally invested and involved. And so at this point, you've got to be really honest. It's like, okay, so you're asking now, why haven't I heard from him more? Why am I not seeing him as much? And at this point, it's kind of all consuming in your brain. And so probably you then decided to have a sit down conversation or a text conversation where you're like, I need you to communicate more, or I want to see you more, or you just want to know where this is going. And there's this kind of intensity in how you're like reaching toward him. And the thing is, it's only been like a couple of weeks, a few weeks in. It's not been that long. But he's kind of like tunnel vision for you now. And so you think, okay, well, I'm having these conversations from this place of like, you're supposed to communicate about these things, right? This is just being honest. But it's not really true honesty. And here's why, because it depends where it's coming from. And you probably were not being honest with yourself first when you were starting to ask these questions, because really you were already over involved. You already were trying to get some kind of an outcome. You really leaned actually into a more masculine energy. It's almost a pursuing energy. And he may be feeling that like pressure, especially if he hasn't decided yet exactly where he stands with you. We're talking about really early on. And so what's happened is trying to get that security from him so early on is really just like using him like a band-aid for how you feel. Because the truth is, he's not going to solve the deeper problem here. Even if he starts texting or calling more, even if he says, yeah, I could see a future, that anxiety in the pit of your stomach won't go away. You're going to continue to need more and more and more evidence in order to feel secure. And you're turning your inner sense of security over to him. You're giving your power away to him. You probably are attaching some sense of your worthiness or your good enoughness to him, and whether or not he's showing up the way you want and whether or not he's choosing you, which is not a good place to be in. And additionally, and this is important, what you've done in these moments where you've kind of flipped who's pursuing and who's more sure, and who's putting in more effort, is that you've reversed that masculine feminine polarity, right? You can only have one masculine energy in attraction. And so what's happened is you've outpaced him, so you're leading now. You're the one who's actually in a more of a pursuer energy. You're the one who's leaning forward, and you're the one who's asking for more when you would want it to be him. Because men actually need that space to pursue. They need to be able to pursue. And so the question truly is like, do you even know him enough at this point, a few weeks in, to know if he's the one? And of course, you actually can't. So, what's happened is that some anxious attachment tendencies, some abandonment wounding, probably, and some insecurities are getting surfaced. And they aren't really caring about whether or not he's the right person for me or not. They're just wanting, and your parts of you are just wanting this quick fix so you can stop feeling the way you're feeling. And while at first it may appear like, oh, he's making changes, right? He's whatever you are wanting to see more of, the problem is we're decided too early. We don't know if he's really right. He has not decided if you are the one yet. And you wouldn't want a man necessarily who, like, date one is like, you're the one, I'm going to marry you, right? Oftentimes that can come from a very unhealthy place. That becomes like love bombing. And so he's actually going to feel a little less interested in you now, because he didn't get that space to decide without the pressure of like, do I like being around her? Do I like her? Do we align? There's so many things he's trying to figure out before he's going to be at the place where he knows what he wants, right? And so despite his initial attraction to you, when you start to put all that pressure on this man, something in him feels a little different about you. Like, you start to get associated with pressure, right? Instead of fun and pleasure and enjoyment and connection and all the things that you really just want to be building in the very, very beginning, right? We're like a few weeks in. And so that kind of pressure doesn't feel good to him. He doesn't want to submit to you, right? That masculine in him is going to be rebelling against you, trying to get something out of him, right? Because he'll feel that like, she's trying to take something from me. And so he starts to question whether or not you're really right for him. So you see, even if you pretend that it's just this sweet request, even if you think that you've played it off as like quote unquote vulnerability, depending where you're coming from, and we're talking about coming from not a secure place, that feels like neediness, and he can feel the insecurity underneath it. And that is just not attractive to a healthy, mature man, because now you're in this pursuing energy and he becomes the one who is being chased and pursued. And while that might, make him feel honored, right, or flattered, it's just not the way he would really want it to be, assuming that this is a man who's a mature masculine man, right? And he doesn't want to be in that position instinctually. And so this is when he kind of slow starts to pull away. Whether or not he was the right one or not, that feels not so great for him, right? And so this sets you up for so much heartbreak, confusion, and pain. And that early attachment doesn't allow you to see who's really in front of you and if he's really worthy of you being so committed already emotionally to him. So it's so important to manage anxious attachment's tendency to want to early attach, to create fantasy bonds, to be moving way ahead of where the man is, right? So unless you enjoy that roller coaster of on again, off again situationships and kind of the drama and the blowout and it was great, now it's not. If you want that stable, secure relationship that's built on a very strong foundation so it can last, working on why you are getting anxiously attached and creating these bonds that aren't necessarily based on anything, and learning how to navigate those early, very, very tender stages of getting to know someone and building a relationship are the number one way that you will end up in a relationship in the end that brings you a lifetime of fulfillment and happiness. So when you are in infatuation, he looks perfect, but you don't even know him really, right? You don't even know if he's really right for you. And when we are living and being in our anxious attachment and our wounds and our insecurities, we're not going to be making the best decisions for ourselves, right? So you need to do the inner work on, why am I doing this? Where is this coming from, right? You need to learn how to navigate dating differently. And there are just simple tweaks that you can start to make to what you're doing to actually help alleviate the anxious attachment alongside doing that inner work and just understanding the steps and the stages and the actual process you want to go through. Dating and then finding that person, getting into a relationship with them, moving that relationship forward is meant to be smooth, easy, and effortless for you. You were meant to be just attracting men, not chasing. You were not meant to do that. So you need to uncover layer by layer what is really underneath this pattern of falling too quickly and leaning forward with men. What are the deeper fears, the deeper emotions, and the wounds that are driving this? And learn a different way to navigate dating. Learn how to approach it in a healthy way. Learn how to approach it in a way that's going to actually attract to you the truly right man who is going to want to commit to you for life, who is going to be so excited about building a relationship with you. And being able to stay in your center, in your power, in your groundedness, and learn how to have that magnetism with men, which really has to do with shifting those inner things. So when you are a successful woman and you are happy with everything in your life, everything is going so well, except for there's that one missing piece, which is that man in your life, the man of your dreams. There's always something at play there that's blocking that from happening. So we want to get really curious about what that is, because there's no reason that you shouldn't have it. Absolutely no reason. If that's something you want, it is yours. You are meant to have that. So if you're ready to find that dream relationship with a man that you can see yourself spending your life with, but you're experiencing lackluster dates, men who come on strong and then pull away, you're not having success in the dating apps, you're not having success getting past date one with men, and you tend to get into just that overthinking, that anxiety when you really like someone, and tend to accidentally, energetically switch into that pursuing like tunnel vision energy, I am running a 5-month group coaching program to help you resolve this and actually never have to go through that again. So I'm going to be guiding you and helping you with all the pieces that you specifically need for your situation and what's going on for you to guide you from single to into a happy, committed relationship with the right man for you. I have clients all the time who come to me with these exact patterns, who go on to meet incredible men within a few months of working together. These shifts are not so huge. They're not as crazy as you think. And I know that it can happen for you too. So in the High Value Woman program, it's live coaching, weekly live coaching. You get video modules that are going to be covering just all the learning piece. And then in live coaching, we get to tweak and look at exactly what's going on for you. And you get coaching and you get inner work, the practical things that you need. This is not giving you tricks or games or manipulation. This is not changing yourself. This is just the guidance so you can get the right man for you, who is truly just that perfect glove fit for you, because you are already good enough and you are already worthy of that man. So this is the same work that has helped my clients, my one-on-one VIP clients, meet their dream men in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months of working together after years of struggle with men and trying to find that right relationship that will last. So when you join the High Value Woman, you're getting the complete package. Not years of therapy just talking about and rehashing the past, but the inner work, the tools and support to see exactly what's in your blind spots and shift those things now in the present so your patterns with men are no longer repeating. You're getting my laser focus on your particular situation and the coaching that you need right now, rather than you shooting in the dark, listening to another podcast, reading another book, taking another DIY program. You're literally getting exactly what you need with my laser focus on you. I see those patterns like that. So I had a client who recently started working with me. She had taken other dating programs focused on things like inner work or feminine energy, just all the things, and she left feeling even more confused about what wasn't working. She went through another situation with a guy who just kind of slow faded out. And in a couple of sessions, all of that confusion was straightened out. It actually ended up telling her to stop doing a lot of the things she'd been told to do because it was actually harming her chances of finding the right partnership. And so getting that laser focus on you, there is literally no replacement for that. You're also getting modules teaching you all the things you need to understand about the psychology of men and how they approach love and commitment, because it is not how women do. And if you are thinking that the way that he's thinking about it is the same as you, that is not true, and that can cause so much confusion and problems for you, and sometimes we can behave in ways that harm our chances with a great man. So I'm going to also teach you exactly what you need to be looking for in a man. It's probably not what you're looking for right now, so that you can know if you've got a man who is right for you and can go the distance with you. So no more wasted time on these guys who were just not it. I'm going to give you things that you can stop doing right now that are causing you to do so much more work than you need to do, so you can actually magnetize and attract that man so much more effortlessly and easily. You're also getting a tight-knit group of smart, high-achieving women who are doing this with you. So you not only have me, but you have a sisterhood of women who are rooting for you, supporting you, and there for you on our coaching calls and in a private Facebook group where you can get support throughout the week. So I know that you are done throwing spaghetti at the wall and shooting in the dark, because all it's gotten you is the same results again and again. And I know that you want to meet that man who adores you, who cherishes you, who makes you feel safe and secure, who you don't ever have to question how he feels about you or where you stand with him, because he is moving the relationship forward so you don't have to do a thing, who comes towards you consistently, who is there for you, supporting you, caring for you, rooting for you, that shoulder to lean on. You're doing life together. You absolutely know that this man is the one, and he feels the same way about you, and it's just so easy. It's like breathing just to have this relationship and be with him. You have the emotional connection and the physical attraction and compatibility all there, so there is no question, and everything just flows. You're flowing from date one to exclusivity, into a relationship, to engagement, to marriage if that's what you want. It's the one place in your life with him, being with him, where you feel so certain and secure. And he looks at you in that way that only a man in love looks at a woman, and you adore him right back. He's a man that you trust, a man that you respect, a man who is truly perfect for you. That is what you're going to be getting through doing this work. So I know it might sound too good to be true, and that is part of the block, that thinking that this doesn't exist or it doesn't exist for you. I've seen it happen over and over again with my clients. They often have just broken things off with an unavailable man. It wasn't moving forward with this guy. They'd been pining for this guy for years, and it was heartbreaking. They thought they'd never get over him. And quickly after they are over that guy, they meet the right guy, and everything just flows. It's so effortless. The way that I am going to teach you to approach dating in the mindset and the practical, as well as supporting you on that inner work. So I know that you're ready to meet your right man. You don't care what society says. Maybe you've heard things like, you shouldn't focus on your love life or your relationship, focus on your career, and you've done that, right? And there is that place in you that you just don't fully feel fulfilled in your life. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. That is normal. We are pair bonding creatures. We want that partnership. You're supposed to have that. It is important and it's worth it. And your happiness is different when you're in the right relationship. It is. It is not completing you, but it is adding to you. And your life is meant to include that romantic partnership, to build that family if that's what you want, to have that lifetime of memories together. And it is really, really, really so easy and simple to do this once you get that practical guidance. So I'm here. I want to help you get there. So if you would like to talk about working together, about joining the High Value Woman, then DM me to book your consultation call. Let's set up a time to chat about working together and make sure that this is a really perfect fit for where you're at and the support that you need. All right, bye.